Hi guys, Tom here. Anyways, thought I'd do a review on a 2-point sling I got. Not this 2-point sling, but since I like to kind of like measure things by other equipment. This is the Proctor 2-point sling. For a long time, I've considered this the best 2-point sling. The Vickers sling is great. The VTAC sling is nice and it has a lot of features I like, but it's kind of like too much stuff, too many buckles and all that jazz on it. This one's a very simple and minimalist design. So minimalist that you don't even need attachment points on your rifle, just someplace where you can run some 550 cord through. And so the Proctor sling lets you run 550 cord through the front end and the side end, and it becomes a very minimalist, like $35 sling. 2-point slings are the way everyone's going. Single point slings have their uses and can be pretty good. The D3 sling's great. The old Magpul slings were good. But this thing kind of shares something with the Magpul slings that I do not like. The Vickers and the VTAC slings are the opposite. And simply what that is for the adjustment buckle, so going down to loosen the rifle, right? So I go down to loosen the gun. So if I need to step out, of the sling to get on the other shoulder, I can do that. Bring it over, come back through the sling. And if I need to tighten, I simply pull up on the slider to get the rifle as tight as I can. The reason why that's a problem is because when you go to tighten it, you run out of biomechanical leverage there to pull it even tighter to get it tighter to your body. And you might want to do that if you're like taking the weapon and throwing it over your shoulder. So I'm throwing it over my shoulder just to, maybe not even have the weapon for a long time, or to simply climb something or do something else. And then when you pull it across, you can find that tab and then run it forward to loosen the sling again. So besides, the Proctor sling's great because it's got the most movement possible. The Magpul sling it's pretty tight going back up, but you can run it up and you can get it pretty tight. So just that leverage thing is kind of the big issue. So anyways, I got a new rifle, Sling, and I actually got this because I was going to go out and do some airsoft with my son, and so I have an MP5 airsoft gun, and so I decided that I would go get either another Proctor sling or a sling that would have the HK hooks, kind of claw hooks. So something like this, right? And so it would fit the eyelet on the MP5 and then the mounting point on the stock. So I ended up going over and finding one on London Bridge LBX, London Bridge Exchange, LBX.com. And I had gotten a couple carriers from LBX, and the carriers were really well made, and the service was great, and the price was fantastic, especially if you create an account. If you're going to buy London Bridge Trading or London Bridge Exchange, LBX or LBT products, do it off of their websites, create an account, you get a better discount, and they ship it and it sits your house in 3 days. This sling took 3 days to get it. Ordered it Monday night, got it Thursday. So let's talk about the sling. LBX 2-point sling. Comes in like every color tactically that you know of. 2 different versions of gray and all that stuff, but it's a great sling. Talking about the attachment points, on both sides it has those HK style kind of carabiners, those hooks. So they're great. So you can hook them in if you have the proper attachment points. On the front of the gun, I'm running a QD mount. Let's see if I can pop it. It's quick to attach, except for when you really want it to. QD mount that I'm running into the gun. If you want to do something different, you can get something like the Magpul. What do they call those? Like MSA adapters or whatever like that. So it's just basically a Picatinny railed eyelet that you can hook a sling onto. So it has those attachment points. They are metal, right? So they can make a lot of noise. But the nice thing that the LBT sling does is it comes with silencers on both sides. So now you cover that up and it minimizes the sound a lot. Other thing, 2 loop locks to adjust the sling, it has a padded shoulder pad, which is pretty good. So it's not like super heavy duty and super soft, but like can kind of rub your neck where all the stitching kind of comes together. But it's like a nice shoulder pad. So it's much more comfortable than something like the Magpul MSA slings and the Proctor sling, which is just 1-inch nylon all the way across. This is 1-inch nylon, but you get yourself a shoulder pad, and I can adjust this to give me a little bit more of a pad when I want. The thing that I love about the sling the most, and that is the actual mechanism for tightening the sling and loosening the sling. So let's talk about that. So just like the Vickers and the VTAC sling, the best thing is that you actually pull down to tighten the sling. And you can tell just by that movement how much higher this is getting and how much tighter it's getting to my body compared to like the Proctor sling. It's also much easier to get much more, get the gun tighter to your body with less effort. And then also for loosening, you simply have a 550 cord attached to this buckle, so you can either reach down and grab the buckle or grab the 550 cord, and by simply tugging on it, like it basically ran all the way to the end, so it's as loose as it's going to get, so I could adjust it. So if I was sitting there shooting, I could put my arm through, take the gun, pop up the sling, go to that shoulder, switch back over, come back, and if I needed to simply adjust the rifle and get it off of me again, I could simply tighten it quickly and then grab the gun and then drop it over my shoulder if I needed to. The cool thing too is about this is some people don't like the tails. I actually don't mind the tails too much, because if I need to find that buckle, I can find that tail and run my hand up and find that buckle to loosen it. But here's one of the best things that they did on the tail. So it has all this adjustment, okay? So you have all that adjustment to make kind of your little knot. And then they actually stitched in and like reinforced the stitching on the tail here. So you simply just make it taut, roll it onto itself for how much adjustment you actually want to let out of the sling, and then close the hook and loop back on it. So honestly, I got it as a sling to put on an airsoft gun, but honestly, it's now living on this rifle, and I'll get another one for all of the stuff that I want to do with them. They're fantastic slings. You can get this one's made in Peru, same material, same quality control. That's done in the United States, but it's manufactured in Peru. There's also if you want the made in the USA version, it's the London Bridge Trading LBT 2-point sling. You can find them, but honestly, guys, it's a fantastic sling, and especially for $30, you're not going to find anything really any better than this. Especially for stowing the gun, your weapon goes dead, you run out of ammunition. Like, you can get this gun tight to your body, and then if you had to run like a secondary weapon, you had to get it out of your way. You had to climb stuff. Nothing in my experience from the Magpuls, the Proctor slings, stuff like that, does as good of a job as the LBX 2-point sling. And so $30, you can't beat it. So head on over there, buy one. That's it. Thanks for watching.